podcast to Away We Go. My name is Dan Vasquez, and I am your host this morning for another exciting trip. So I am super excited to having you here with us, and um, I am just I can hardly express how happy I am to welcome you to the show. I am going today, this morning, to one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. I'm often asked, "What is your favorite place to visit?" And I always say, "Of course, Mexico, because that's where I was born, and it's always nice to go home." But there is something about Israel that it's fascinating. I remember going to Israel for the first time, and I remember saying, "Yeah, this was definitely on my bucket list." And today, I'm going to take you on a tour. I'm going to show you some of my favorite pictures. I'm not going to show you all of them because I have over 3,000 pictures from a trip to Israel. But I'm going to show you my favorite pictures, at least the top 10. And I'm going to give you some stories. We're going to go through the city of Tel Aviv. And then we're going to take north right to the coast of Israel. And we're going to go up to Haifa. And then we're going to go on to Capernaum. Then we'll go up to the Golan Heights, right to the border of Syria. And then we're going to go down through the Jordan River, all the way down to the majestic city of Israel. And I'm telling you, Israel is an amazing, magical place. I remember being there for the first time and thinking, wow, this is like another planet, like another world. And I am so excited that for the first time in Away We Go, we have a guest that is joining us all the way from Israel, and that is Susie Matias. Susie Ariel, because when I met you, your name was Matias,
Yeah.
now you're Ariel. So Susie, how are you? It's so good for you to join us.
Hey, how are you? Thank you.
I'm so happy, and thank you for being here with us. So Susie studied here in Ohio, and we got to meet in university. And um, later on, when I went to visit Israel, I got to visit her and her family. And I'm telling you, her family, her mom and dad are just amazing people, some of the best people in the world. And her mom is an amazing cook. And the food that you eat
Thank
there,
you.
I mean, is unbelievable. I wish you could have a trip there. Now, Susie, you are, 7 hours from us. So some of us just woke up. Like, I still have, like,
Good
you know,
morning.
yes. But for you, what time is it in Israel?
It's 6:30 afternoon.
6:30 in the
Yeah.
afternoon. Yeah, so it's 7 hours, right? 7 hours
Mm-hmm.
different. So just
Mm-hmm.
in a few more hours, and you're gonna be going to bed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Um, well, Susie, you are our guest. I'm gonna tell them a little bit about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Susie is an incredible person. She's actually one of my best friends, but she
Mm-hmm.
speaks what, 4 or 5 languages?
Something like that. No, less a
Something
little
like
bit.
that. So let's see if I remember right. So you speak English, at least you try to. I'm just kidding. You speak English. You speak Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
You speak Russian.
Russian.
You speak Arabic.
A little bit. Yeah, I know how
A little
to
bit of
write
Arabic.
and
You
read. Yeah,
understand it.
not. Mhm.
Y hablas español un poquito.
Un poquito.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's get started this morning, Susie. I'm so excited to join us, and
Me
I'm
too.
telling you, I owe you a huge favor. So now I want you to start, Susie. No, one thing about you is that you were in the National Guard or in the Army of Israel, and something that most people don't know, that it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, but you have to serve in the military. It's mandatory. It's not like if you want to or not. Tanya saying "Здравствуйте." I can understand that. I feel so proud. Anyway, um, so you know how to shoot a rifle or a gun, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
um, you were in the army for 2 years. Is that right?
Yeah, girls usually go for 2 years and boys go for 3 years to
For
serve.
3 years, and it's
Hmm.
mandatory. It's not like I don't feel like
Yes.
doing it.
No. Yeah, mandatory.
Everybody has to learn. Everybody has to defend the nation. So the country of
Yeah.
Israel is so unique because Israel connects three continents. For those of you that didn't know, it connects Africa, Asia, and Europe. And all three collide into this small part of land. Now, you can see my map in the back. Israel is just right there. It's probably upside down. You can't really see it. It's a tiny little country. Well, it's not tiny, but it's about the size of New Jersey. Is that right, Susie? Let me bring my map over here. And let's see. We are right here in Africa. This is, yeah, I don't know if you can see it right here. So whatever you see, the circle, and Israel is, no, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, can you see it? I'm upside down. I think I'm upside down. Anyway, this is the Mediterranean Ocean, and Israel would be right here. So anyway, Victoria, thank you for joining us. Maria, thank you for joining us. Dr. Webb, good to have you. So anyway, I want you to, ladies and gentlemen, please buckle up your seatbelts. Make sure that all of your equipment is underneath your seat. And we're going to go flying in an altitude of 30,000 above sea ground. Please turn off all of your electronic devices. No, please turn them on and share it with your friends. You can follow me on Instagram at Danosiel Vasquez. Maybe one of the hosts can put in the chat at Danosiel Vasquez. You can find me on Facebook or on Instagram, and get your passport ready. So as I shared before, I have two passports. I have a U.S. passport because I am a U.S. citizen, but I'm also a Mexican citizen. Can you believe that? And you can get your trips. Now, one thing about Israel that most people don't know is that when you get to Israel, you can choose to get your passport stamped or no. Actually, most people don't get it, right, Susie?
Yes, we have a finger, how do you say, finger stamp. Like we
recognition.
Can put our, yes.
Yeah. So Israel is not a third world country. It's not a second world country. Israel is a developed first world nation. And Susie, I remember being there in Tel Aviv and at the airport, and I'm thinking, wow, we got some technology I haven't even seen in the United States. The technology there is unbelievable. I remember being there, and I was learning about Israel was developing a water that actually subtracts the radiation off of your body, because we all are getting radiation, especially those of us that fly a lot. The closer you are to the sun, the more radiation you have. And the university, I think it was the University of Tel Aviv, was inventing this water that you can take the radiation out. I mean, it's mind-blowing stuff. Who thinks about that stuff, right? So anyway, I also want to show you a few things from the Israel. So I still have some shekels. The currency in Israel is not US dollars, it's shekels. So I have $20 right here, 20 shekels, right? Am I saying it right? You tell me, Susie. And who's this man right here?
Shekels.
Who is this? Do you remember who's this man? No, that's okay. These are probably presidents and people like that. Anyway, and this is 100 shekels. And I don't mean to brag or anything, but I think I'm wealthy in Israel. No, I'm not. But it is 300 shekels right here. I always keep a little extra cash whenever I go to another country, just enough to make a phone call, just enough to get a taxi, to get a hotel or whatever emergency I need. If I need to get out of jail, not that I'm planning to, but always keep a little bit of cash, just a little tip. So how do we get to Israel? If you live in Columbus, Ohio, like I live, you will fly from Columbus to New York, and you can fly into LaGuardia or to JFK, and then you take the beloved 12 hours there and 13 hours back, I think. But you can fly straight from New York City all the way to Tel Aviv most of the time. And then once you get to Tel Aviv, you can get to see the country. So anyway, Susie, I was introducing you and then I got distracted. That's what happens to me. I'm always chasing rabbits.
That's okay.
So Susie, you're right now in Israel. Tell us how the weather is, how are things going? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Susie. I'm a makeup artist and a hairstylist in Israel for brides. And I live in Migdala Emek, which is near Nazareth. What else? Yes, Israel is awesome. The weather now is so nice. It's in Celsius, it's around 26 Celsius.
Oh, nice.
Sunny. Yes, last week actually it was super hot. It was 113 Fahrenheit. It was super, super hot
That is
for
hot.
May. Yes, but now it's nice.
Wow. And Susie, you studied in the U.S. for 2 or 3 years, I think.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yes. And then you went back. You lived in Jerusalem as well.
Yeah, I lived almost 10 years in Jerusalem, around 10 years. It was
Uh-huh.
very, very nice. Jerusalem is one of the holiest cities in the world. It actually
Yes.
has three major, how do you say,
Religions
religions. Yes, Judaism, Islam, um,
and Christianity.
and yeah, in Christianity. Yeah, so it's really, really nice, nice place to be, Jerusalem. If you're in Israel, I recommend you to come to Jerusalem.
Okay, so if somebody wants to go to Israel, what is a place that they must go that they cannot miss?
First of all, Jerusalem, I think,
Yeah.
because it's the most unique place. Because I think I've been traveling all around the world, and I think there is no place like Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Even the feeling is very, very unique. It feels like you are coming back on time to the past.
Well,
It's
Susie, this is the thing. I've
Mhm.
traveled a little bit, and I've been to the ruins in Mexico, Chichen Itza, and Tikal, and different places, and you see things that are 100 years old, 400 years old, 500 years old, and then you get to Europe and you get to see things that are 1,000, 1,500 years, or 2,000 years old. But all of a sudden, you get to Israel, and that's another ball game. I mean, you're talking about 6,000 years old. 4,000 years old. So the history is unbelievable. The
incredible.
streets and the things you see there. I mean, it's unbelievable, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well,
Yes.
so without delay, let's start our virtual tour. And I'm going to take you first from Columbus, Ohio to Tel Aviv. Then from Tel Aviv, we're going to go up through the coast of the Mediterranean, which the Mediterranean is in a beautiful, beautiful sea. And then we'll go up to Caesarea. So, Susie, you were in Caesarea when, today or yesterday?
Today, yes, we went there to
Today.
the beach. It was amazing.
I'm going to
The
show them
beach
the
is
video you sent
wonderful.
me.
Yes.
If it's okay
Okay.
with you, I'll tell you.
Great.
Okay.
Of course.
And then we're going to go up to Haifa. And then through Haifa, we'll probably pass by your house. So wave at us, Susie, when we pass by.
Okay.
And we're going to go through Nazareth, and then we're going to go to the Galilean Sea. We'll go up to Golan Heights to the border of Syria, and then down, and we'll finish our tour in the majestic city of Jerusalem. Okay. Now, a trip to Israel costs around $4,000 to $5,000. Israel
Wow.
is not a cheap place to go. If you want to save money, let me just warn you, you will not save money. Uh, the average hotel cost is about $150. What is the rate right now, Susie, for $1? How much
I think
shekels do you get?
3.5.
It's very stable
Yeah.
because it's been like that for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's a little bit less. Yeah. It was like 3.7, 3.8, but now it's 3.5
Well, that
lately.
speaks about the economy of the country, which is just good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your seatbelt on. I'm going to share my screen, and we're getting ready to go to Israel. Um, and I hope you are ready. Don't forget your passports. So we're going to start our journey in Columbus, Ohio. So there we are. We're going to go to the airport. So we're going to start first backwards. Here we are. So say hi, everybody. Wave your hands. That's where you are.
Hi.
You lived in this city, Susie.
In Migdala Emek. Ah, yes, in Columbus, Ohio. Yes.
Yes. And here is John Glenn International Airport. And ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping in an airplane, and we are flying now to Tel Aviv, Israel. Here we go. Are you ready? Please don't. There is a bag in front of you if you need to, um, if you need it. Anyway, so here's Tel Aviv, and I'm telling you, this is a majestic, majestic city. Tel Aviv is right on the coast, and it's a modern city. The life in Tel Aviv is a fast-paced life. Um, you get the beaches in the ocean and the water, the Mediterranean, which is a beautiful, beautiful sea. And we were talking about, so as you can say, Tel Aviv is right on the coast, and there is a famous port right here. which is the, I think it's this
Jaffa
one,
Port.
Jaffa Port. Yes. So let's go right
Mm-hmm.
here and let's check it out. How it looks like. If you have any questions or any concerns, you can go ahead and shoot them out on the chat here through Zoom, or if you're on Facebook Live, you're more than welcome to send us pictures and tell us about it. You can see the city over there. So you see they have skyscrapers as well, and factories. Like I said, Israel is developed. It's uh, it's a first world nation, and there is a lot of European influence as well, but it maintains its Middle Eastern culture, and it's full of culture, full of riches. So this would where we would normally fly into when you're flying from the United States. You normally, I would say that Tel Aviv is the door into the country. I think you can fly also into Jerusalem, right, Zuzi?
No, no, not to Jerusalem.
Yes.
You can fly to near Eilat. There is a
Mm-hmm.
new airport there, international. So it's in Tel Aviv and near Eilat. Mm-hmm.
Right, right. So Eilat is on the south, and Jerusalem is right here. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know about Israel is that in Israel, it's uh, the flying air. You cannot fly over Israel. Um, you have to. You cannot fly. Only commercial flights and only military flights can fly through Israel. Right?
I guess I didn't even know. I think so.
I
You
remember.
know better than me.
No, no, no. You're the one that lives there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the airport Ben Gurion. So if you're looking for flights, this is where you want to fly into. Ben Gurion is the airport,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's the airport you want to fly into. Again, if you're from the U.S., you probably need to fly from New York or Atlanta or Miami or Florida, and we're gonna go up to the national park. So we're running around this beautiful coast. Like you see, there is a lot of parks and water, and people love to swim. Most people, when they think about Israel, they don't think about these kind of things, but you can actually see it. And we are going right here to the Caesarea National Park. So let's look at this National Park of Caesarea. It's a historic because a lot of things um, that have happened here historically, as many of you might know or you might not know, but Israel is the land of the Bible. Um, and there is a lot of stories in the Bible that happen here. This national park in Caesarea, which is right next to the Mediterranean Sea, it's where King Herod had different events. He had a what's it called? Well,
Amphitheater.
the amphitheater where he was
Mm-hmm.
fascinated with entertainment and things like that. So he will do that. He also had the horse race plays. What's it called?
Yeah. I don't
Hippodrome,
remember.
hippodromus, or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, I remember standing right here, right when I'm going to show you, and I mean it's a beautiful place because this is where the horses used to race, and you're looking at rocks that were there for 5,000 and 6,000 years old. This is where the horses used to run, and right by the ocean, which is great because the breeze of the ocean, even though it's hot, the breeze of the ocean cools it off. And I would say the weather of Israel is very compatible with the weather in Southern California, like
Mm-hmm.
Los
It's true.
Angeles, San Diego, because we're about
Mm-hmm.
the same latitude in the world. And this is Caesarea. And Zuzi, you were explaining to me that the word Caesarea, when I think about this town, I think about a woman giving birth, right? C-section. And
C-section.
you're telling me that in Hebrew it's similar. The words are similar.
Yeah, it's a section. It's Caesarea,
Mm-hmm.
and Caesarea. It's like from Caesar. Yeah, Caesar. It's a
Uh-huh.
Caesar.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a beautiful place. So this is normally when you go on a tour in Israel, this is they would normally take you. Now, uh, let's go up north. So we're going. So if you remember, we were down here in Tel Aviv. and we're going up through Caesarea. We're through the coast of Israel. I wanted to show you again. Let me zoom out and show you where Israel is located. So here's what I was talking about. Turkey is part of Europe. Um, Israel is a border with Egypt, right? And Egypt is
Mm-hmm.
part of Africa. And then Jordan, Lebanon, Syria is part of the Middle East, which is Asia. So that's where I say Israel is the connected point of three different continents. So right here you can see it clearer. You can see Europe, you can see Asia, and you can see Africa. Now this is one of the most desired pieces of land, real estate in the world. Why? Because if you have Israel, you have access to three continents, and you can connect there. So it connects. I don't know if there is another place in the world that connects three continents. So we just went through this area, and now I want to take you over to Haifa, to this beautiful, beautiful city. Susie, I remember when you took me there. You and your husband took me out there on a tour to Haifa, and this was one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite places. Oh, actually, I miss Mount Carmel. Let's see if we can go to Mount Carmel before we get to
Ah.
Haifa right quick. Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, there's so many places to see. I'm thinking we need to do another um, another tour. There is Mount Carmel, not far from um,
Mm-hmm.
from Haifa. Uh, we need to do another one of these on Israel alone, because in Israel there are over 60 sites that,
Oh, national
what's it called?
parks, yeah.
National
The
parks.
national parks. Mm-hmm.
Susie, how many have you been to?
More than 40 already this
That's
year.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So here is Mount Carmel, and I want to take you right here to the top of Mount Carmel. This is the famous place where the Bible story of Elijah, the prophet Elijah, called fire from heaven and consumed the prophets of Baal. And this is where this all happened. And from Mount Carmel, you can overlook at the ocean, and then you can overlook at also at the Mount or the Valley of Megiddo, right? So here's Mount Carmel. The Valley of Megiddo is all this area that you see over here. Is basically the only flat part of Israel. Would you say that's true, Susie? Because most of it is mountains and hills.
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And right
Big
here you
part.
can see when Mount
Mm-hmm.
Carmel is where Elijah the prophet went up here. And I remember being standing there, and you can actually look at the um, at the ocean from here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Now, if hold on, okay, good. So there is where Mount Carmel is. It's probably maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes to drive to Haifa.
From Mount Carmel, yeah, it
Yeah.
depends on traffic, but yeah, it's really close. Which depends where in Haifa, but it's all there.
So this is the city of Haifa, and this is the gardens of Bai. Am I saying it
Baha'i,
right? And
yeah, Baha'i
if I get it
Gardens.
right, this is where what religion was started here?
Um, Baha'i,
Let me see. I think this
I
is where
think it's something with New Age. I think.
the New Age, yes, the New Age movement.
Yes.
This has to do a lot
Mm-hmm.
with the New Age movement, and I just want
Mm-hmm.
to show you uh, some pictures from here from the garden. So let's do the 3D first, and you can see how it is above. It's a high mountain that you can look at and overlook at the port and overlook at the city. Now at night, Josie was telling me the views are
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable. But even in the morning, I mean, the views are beautiful. I want to show you some pictures from here. Look at these gardens. You can look at the port. Look at those
Mm-hmm.
gardens. It's breathtaking. And when people think of Israel, some of them just think about, hey, look at that. We have those in Mexico. Um, People think about desert, but they don't think that there are palm trees and beautiful flowers and fruit. Basically, everything grows in Israel. I tried the
Mm-hmm.
fruit there, and it's delicious. And we'll talk about food in a moment. Here's a picture from at night of the gardens of
Mm-hmm.
Haifa. You can look at the flowers, but it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And let's look at the 2D right here, and we'll go in person. Let me see if I can get you the view that I saw when I was here. Um, and you can overlook at the garden. Now, for those of you that wonder where you drive on the side of the road, you would drive. Here's the view of the port. Isn't it beautiful? So, all right, I'm gonna stop sharing because I'm gonna go back with you. And Susie, I'm gonna ask for your help. I want you to teach us some Hebrew words, and then we'll continue on our tour. So, if you want to learn how to say something in Hebrew, so go ahead and tell us. Thank you.
Hello, you can say shalom.
Okay, let's all say it together. Shalom.
Shalom, which means peace too.
Shalom.
Peace.
Means peace. Okay, good.
Yeah. And if you want to say how are you doing, what's up, it says manishma.
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 Yeah. So what's up?
That's what's up, right? What's going on?
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah.
Manishma. I think, Susie, let me see if I remember correctly. Ani Dan. I am Dan, right?
Yes, good.
Ani Dan. So you say I is Ani. Right? Ani medaber Hibrut. No, Ani lo ledaber Hibrit.
Ani lo medaber Hibrit.
Ani lo medaber Hibrit. That means I don't speak Hebrew. Now,
yeah, but you remember.
I remember some. Help us how to say it.
Ani, I.
Ani.
Lo, it's no.
Lo.
Medaber. Medaber, if it's a guy, he says medaber. If it's a girl, she says medaberet.
Oof. Wow.
And Ivrit, which is Hebrew, yeah.
Does it sound like Hibrit?
Ivrit.
Ivrit.
Yeah.
It seems like I have to swallow something and keep it on my throat to say it right.
And you have to have
Let's all practice.
To clear your throat.
How do you say goodbye?
Litraot. Or you can say bye. But it says lehitraot.
Now, what are the most popular languages in Israel?
Languages, I think it's Arabic, English. There's some Russian. Yeah.
I was surprised how many Russian is spoken in Israel. A lot of people speak Russian.
A lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost like 2 million. I think there's lots of Russians. Yeah.
But the official language.
We always say that if you don't know Russian in Israel, it's like you're not really Israeli.
That's funny. But the official language is Hebrew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you write Hebrew? For those of you that don't know, what's the difference between English and Hebrew?
We write from right to left, and not from left to right, like in English.
So you don't read the book like that. You read the book like that.
Exactly. I know the end from the beginning. No. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how different is the life between America and Israel? You lived in both countries. And what would you say are some of the differences between the life in Israel and the life here?
First of all, I would say that the first time when I came to Ohio, I was shocked that there was no sidewalks now. Like most of the people were just driving and not walking. And in Israel, everybody are walking everywhere. And there's lots of buses and public transportation. So you can see a lot of people outside, which is in Ohio, not so much. You can see them or in driving or shopping.
Right.
Like when you're in the mall or something, you see a lot of people. So this is one of the biggest changes that I saw. Second of all, I think people are spending more time with families in Israel. I
Hmm.
think if you at least once or twice a week, you have to see your family. We have it's called Aruchot Shishi. It's on Fridays. We have lots of family dinners on Fridays. So we don't see our families only on holidays, but almost like twice a week, once a week, we have to see them.
Hold on, hold on. So here is one thing about different in Israel that in America that for me was shocking. In Israel, you only have one day off, right? And that's the Shabbat.
Well, Friday, some people have half
Okay.
day off. Yeah.
And the first day of work is on Sundays for us, right?
Yes.
So you
Mm-hmm.
basically work 6 days a week, and you only get like
Yeah.
one day off.
I know we
For
should
those,
move to America.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, and one more different that I was thinking, what's so different? For example, the weddings in Israel. So we have big weddings, at least 400 people,
wow.
and you can bring only money, only checks. But in the States, you bringing like actual gifts, and yeah, so this is a big difference. I think people in Israel are more relaxed. I think they work less than in the States. In the States, it seemed to me like people are very like working very hard, and they all the time they're at work. um yeah, so this is the differences. I think the weather is a little bit different too. Lots
Did
of
you guys
people are
get
going to the
snow?
beach. Once in a while, every few years, maybe a little bit, only on the high mountains. And yeah.
Okay. So if you want to raise a little money, you can just get married and then get divorced, and you can get to keep all the cash, right? Don't do that. No, that's terrible. That's terrible. Don't listen to me. So, Susie, how is this COVID-19 virus affected Israel?
We were on quarantine, you say?
Uh-huh.
Quarantine, as everybody, but I think they closed the gates very early. So we had I think 270
Wow.
deaths. So
Wow.
um yeah, so um we keep being in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yes, we were. Now people are coming back to work a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, everybody were affected. For example, I do brides, so until now I don't have brides still,
Yeah.
because we're not allowed to have big weddings. But
Did the country
hopefully,
open again?
not yet as much as usually. But I think there is few flights, but I'm not sure exactly. Like, I think it's still closed. I think it's the major flights are still closed.
Wow. Well, let's continue talking, and as we continue talking, let's go back to the land of Israel, and
Hmm.
as we go on the tour, we'll go through Haifa, and maybe I'll show them around where your city is.
Hmm.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
So, in just a moment, we'll start taking questions. I know there are some questions coming in, but Zuzi, I don't know if you
Hmm.
knew this, but I took 2 days or one day, and I went to the city of Akko, which in English is
Hmm.
Acre. Akko. This
Hmm.
city, it's unique in the world because this city has been inhabited. That means that this city has had people for 6,000 years. 6,000 years. It's a port city, and there are many famous people in history that went through here. The Apostle Peter, the Apostle Paul, even other conquerors from history, Alexander the Great, other people that have been here. And I want to show you this Knights Hall. I mean, this place is unreal, and it's been it has history. These are some of the old buildings. In a little bit, I'm going to show you pictures of this place from my own personal pictures. And but it's a really cool city. Most people don't go here, but it's really not that far from Haifa. If you can see,
Hmm.
Josie, you were telling me that there are people that can go over here, right? Oh, before I
Yeah,
forget,
you can take a boat.
yeah, before I
Hmm.
forget, let's show them the pictures from from your trip today. I think there is. This is. Tell us about this.
This is in Caesarea,
Uh-huh.
and this is the port that Herod built,
Wow.
and it was ruined, I think, in an earthquake. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys get earthquakes too?
So most of the yeah, most of the city,
Uh-huh.
most of the ruins are inside of the water. So we saw people are going down the water, diving.
Oh wow! So the city is under the ocean.
Most of it, yeah.
That's amazing.
Every
And
few
King
years they
Herod
find
built this. Go ahead.
every few years they find some coins. Every time they go down diving, they find some new.
Wow. Hey, do you think there's still treasures over there? Gold or
For
something?
sure, I'm sure there is.
Okay, next time I go there, I want to go visit there, okay? And I want to take my swimming gear.
Your swimming suit.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Wow. So King Herod was very famous. He is in the Bible. There are stories about him in the Bible. And wow, that's incredible. And I saw some pictures you sent me earlier from there. Let me see if I can pull them up. I think that's it. Okay, so let's go back to the tour, and so there's the city of Accra. And now, Susie, talk about a little bit about uh, the history. When everybody hears about Israel, all we hear is about, the wars and missiles and things like that. And although that is true, but you don't live in fear, do you?
Well, sometimes, but most of the times, no. We kind of used to it already.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you're used to what are some of the things that you have to do that you're used to?
Well, every few months there is some bombing going on. Last
That's not
sometimes
funny.
terror. Yes, I know terrorist attacks, but it's kind of when you live here, it's already become like how do you say it? Like on a regular basis. You don't get much fear out of that already.
Mm.
You just get used to it. Yeah.
So, Zuzi, we're looking at the screen, the Sea of Galilee. This is
Mm-hmm.
where, now, let me see if I remember correctly. Um, so there's Accra. You live around Nazareth. There is Nazareth. That's where Jesus was
Mm-hmm.
born. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he grew up here. And you live in, where is, you tell me, where
Migdala
is
Emek. Migdala
Migdala
Emek.
Emek? Where is
Yeah,
it?
it's like 10-15 minutes from
Nazareth.
Nazareth. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Nazareth is a little bit nice city.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not
Yes.
far from the Sea of Galilee. So the Sea of Galilee is a very historic place because most of the miracles that we read in the Bible are happen right here in the Sea of Galilee, right?
Yeah, in Hebrew, yes, in Hebrew it's called Kinneret,
Okay.
and it's the biggest freshwater lake in Israel.
Uh-huh.
And they actually in the New Testament they say that Jesus walked here on the water and did
Yeah.
most of his miracles there. Yeah.
And so
It's
see
actually
right
my
here.
favorite place. It's actually my favorite place in Israel. It's so calm and
Oh
so
yeah.
peaceful. Yes, it's very unique place.
I spent about 3 or 4 days there in Tiberias, and I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. The people are super nice. The shops and the food is unbelievable. I stay right there in Tiberias, and we did take a boat according to where Jesus would have walked across this ocean. He walked on the water. Some people say he was Cuban because Cuban. No, that's a bad joke because Cubans can walk on water. Anyway, so here's Capernaum on the side where there were miracles recorded, and the place where he preached the message of the Beatitudes. Blessed are those that suffer. I think it's in this area, right? Near Capernaum, right from this area right here. So he was looking at the ocean, or he would teach and do his teaching along this side. Now, the Jordan River, a lot of people don't know this, is that the Jordan River runs from the Sea of Galilee all the way to the Dead Sea, right? It connects both seas. So you see where okay, here's north and south. So here is the Sea of Galilee, and then you go south, and it connects. You see all of this is where it takes you to the Dead Sea. Now, the most unlucky sea in the world is the Dead Sea because it's dead. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
It's actually the lowest point on the earth. It's
Yes,
430 meters below the sea level, and it's very,
that,
very salty. You can float there, and the
yes.
mud of it, it's very healthy, like lots of minerals.
I remember when I went there, you told me don't shave that day when I was gonna go into this the sea, and I was like, "What does Susie know? I'm gonna shave anyway." I shaved, and when I got into the
Really?
water, yes, it burned my face so much. I was like, I should have listened. I should have paid attention.
And you also cannot jump inside of the water. You have to go very slowly, because if the salt goes into your eye, it's like emergency.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
So here is I haven't left Tiberias yet. Here is the city of Tiberias, and well,
It's
let
like
me.
a very
Yeah,
bad street.
I know of all the streets. I'm sorry. I'm trying to show the nice parts, and I go into this random street. I want to
It's
take you
like a
to where
ghetto. Yeah.
oh, St. Peter's Church. I remember that place. Uh,
Hmm.
here is the port. Let's go right here, and let's look at the like the Sea of Galilee from the port, kind of. It's beautiful. I mean, the sunsets and the sunrises. That was the kind of view I had from my hotel. As our
Hmm.
hotel was right on the ocean, and this is the tourist boats that take you around. And normally, when you go to Tiberias and you walk where Jesus walked, they take you to this side, and then you eat what they call Peter's
Peter's fish.
fish. Yes, which is a fish that is fried, but they don't take nothing out. Even the eyes are on it, and the fish is
Hmm.
looking at you when you're eating it. But don't be scared. I'm telling you, it's a delicious.
It's really
Look at the
good.
palm
Hmm.
trees. It's a beautiful, beautiful Tiberias. I love this city. I wish I could spend more time there, and I'm looking forward to going back. I think this was my hotel.
Hmm.
Anyway, so it's a beautiful place out here, Tiberias. So we are running out of time. So this has gone so fast. Let's go over from Tiberias. Let's um, let's continue our tour. Let's go up like we were flying, and let's go
Masada.
along. Oh, let me just show real quickly. This is worth mentioning. Up here is Mount Heron, which is part of
Hermon.
his Hermon. And oh, look at the
Yeah.
name of the city. I just wanted to show you
It's
this.
part. It's part of Golan Heights.
The Golan Heights. Yes.
It's part. It's a mountain region. It's very beautiful landscape. In the spring is the best time to come. There's like lots of flower blooming, and the Mount Hermon. It's the tallest mountain in Israel. And in the winter you can ski there, and in the summer you just can enjoy the flowers bloom, and the it's like an alpine weather, very nice weather compared to summer in Israel.
Yeah. Look at
Yeah,
that.
this is like in the summer.
So this place is very high. You can find snow on the top of the mountains, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In the summer, yeah.
And this is right at the border with Syria.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to the Valley of Tears, right near the Golan Heights. And actually, our tour guide that day, he had been in the army, and he was 17 years old when he actually fought the war in the Valley of Tears, and he lost a few friends, but
Mm.
he shared incredible stories with us from these Golan Heights. So there's so much to see in Israel. It's just unbelievable. If this is not on your bucket list, you should definitely make it. And let's go from the heights. Let's go over to the Dead Sea, and I want to take you to a very special place in the Dead Sea or around the Dead Sea, and it's Masada. Masada. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
place is unreal. Oh, I want to show you. This is interesting too. Is this where Sodom and Gomorrah used to be? This area?
I know, I know it's near there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the holes where the fire and brimstone came from heaven and left it there. But let me show you right here, Masada, because it's a this is a
Actually,
uh
because of the Dead Sea is drying out, do you see the line? It used to be one. The lake was one, and now it
Wow.
dries out in the middle because of the weather and because they always pump the minerals for
Uh-huh.
the Dead Sea lotions and stuff like that. So it's drying out, and what did I want to say? Forgot.
Well, this
Okay, sorry. Oh, there's
it's
every
late for you.
day.
It's late for you.
There is every day. It's becoming like lots of sinkholes. It's thousands of
Oh wow.
sinkholes all around. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So there is lots of areas that they just closed, hotels and um, beaches that they just closed because there's so many sinkholes.
Wow.
I need to I will send you next time because we did drone. We flew
Uh-huh.
a drone and we saw all the sinkholes from up.
So what we're looking at, we are in the Plato of Masada, where was it King Herod as well who built this I think it was King Herod who built this
Yes.
fortress on top of this Plato, which is a mountain. I think is 1,000 feet above sea level, and you can go up there in a little cart. Let me get it better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very historic and important, one of the most important places for Israel, because this is where the battle when the Romans came to take over Israel. This was a place where, if I remember the story correctly, Susie, you can correct me, and you can interrupt
Mm-hmm.
me anytime you want,
Mm-hmm.
where the Roman soldiers, when they went up here, they surrounded the mountain, and when they were
Mm-hmm.
about to take captive the mountain, as you can see, the mountain, the soldiers of Israel decide to commit suicide uh,
Yes,
before
instead of
falling into the hands
surrender.
of the Romans. Yes, and over
Exactly.
900 soldiers died right on this mountain. So this mountain has flood with blood. And
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, when a soldier is enters into the army, they have to go to this place right here, Masada, and they have to do their oath, right, to the nation, and declare the famous words, Masada shall never fall again. Susie, correct me or tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not well, probably part of the soldiers. I didn't do it, but when
Okay.
I was in the army, we went there to see the sunrise. I think it was the best sunrise I ever seen in my life. It's an incredible place.
And you can look
Hmm.
at the Dead Sea from up here, right?
Yes. Hmm. Beautiful
If I
view.
if I remember the story correctly, King Herod built this place in case something happened in Jerusalem, and he would run to hide over to this place. And so he built Masada, and I mean you can overlook by that side. You can overlook at the Dead Sea, which is not far from there. And I think during those times, maybe the water reached all the way up here. But as you said, the water is getting dry now. Susie, I want to go right. I have not been there, but you told me so much about it. I want to go check it out. Eliat.
Hmm.
Tell us about Eliat.
Eilat.
Elat.
Eilat. Yeah. Uh, this city is very near to Jordan, near Aqaba, and near Sinai, which is in Egypt.
Mount Sinai. Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's a city that lots of people are coming there for vacation, and there's lots of hotels there. The water is cold and nice. Um, it's in the Red Sea.
So this is
Yeah.
the Red Sea. So Israel has three seas: the Sea of Galilee, the Dead Sea, and the Red Sea. Right? Oh, look at that.
Hmm.
Oh, that means some close. Oh, look at the water. You can actually see through the water. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
And on
very
the other
clear,
side, go ahead.
and it's the water is very clear, and you can see actually there is a lot of corals. There's this a huge beach for coral reef.
Wow. It
Hmm.
looks beautiful.
You can take a boat. Um, it's sheer, it's clear, and then you can see all the fishes, um, and all the corals from up.
And
It's
there's some
really
of
really nice.
the Peter's fish. They call it Peter's fish because it's cheap. It's like $20, and everybody can buy it. So part of the sea belongs to Israel, and the other part belongs to Jordan. Is that right? The sea is divided.
Yeah, we just last a few months ago we visited in Jordan too.
Oh, cool.
Jordan and Egypt. So it's funny how like in 10 kilometers you can be, no, more, a little bit more than 10 kilometers, but you can be in the same place but almost three countries. Yeah.
I love that. Wow.
This is the oceanarium. There's lots of different fishes there. You can see them.
It looks awesome. So there is the border of Israel and Egypt, right there on the south, and yeah, incredible. So now,
Hmm.
as we conclude, we go to the main point, to the what people call, many people call this the capital of the world, and that is the city of Jerusalem. So, I remember the first time I was there, we were
Hmm.
coming from Masada, I believe, and the tour guide prepared everything perfect for us to get to the city. We were in our
Hmm.
bus. It was almost sunset, and we go through this tunnel, and all of a sudden we go right here, um, and we get to enter the city, and the sun is coming out, and then he plays the button and the music starts. Jerusalem, Jerusalem,
You need to
and
be
the
a
sun is
thinker,
like,
Dan.
oh man, I'm telling you, we all started crying and weeping, and the
Yeah.
views were unbelievable. And we see, the mount, uh, uh, the mount, the Temple Mountain,
Olives. Temple Mount. Hmm.
and we're looking at the Temple Mountain, and the sun is coming down, and I mean the atmosphere, and it's one of the most peaceful cities I have ever visited in the world. Although there has been a lot of bloodshed on this city, there is one of the most uh, peaceful cities that I have ever been. So we're seeing um, some of the cities now. You help me here because you lived in this city, Susie. Help me get to Temple Mountain, which is the most place. You tell me to go right or left.
I hardly can see. I can't see what's written because I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me see
So you will.
if I remember correctly. So, okay, this is the Damascus Gate, and here we are. There is Temple Mountain. This is the famous mountain right here. Let me do the 3D. There is where the mosque, it's there. There's the Western Wall and the city of Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem. Now, on the right side, you see this other mountain of garden, and there is the
Of
tomb,
olives.
the Mount of Olives. And
Hmm.
the Mount of Olives is part of it is a cemetery where so many
Hmm.
people have been buried there, thousands of people, and it overlooks at the mountains. Here's the famous Western Wall. Now, why is this wall significant? Because this wall right here, the Western Wall, is actually the original wall from the first temple that Solomon built, what, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. And this is the dome
It's
right here.
holy.
Yes, this is a holy place.
Hmm.
So let me give you a tip. If you're going to Israel, you cannot dress however you want to. There's a dress code to visit this place. If you're a man or a woman, you must cover your head, your elbows, and your knees and your toes, especially your toes. If you're a lady, you cannot go there in sandals. Make sure you cover your feet, your knees, because it's a holy place.
It's
So
a separation. It's a separation between women and men when you pray, and you can put a note with your prayer inside of the wall.
right inside of the wall. Zuzi, I also inserted my prayer right there on this wall, and it was amazing.
That's
I
awesome.
stood right here on this wall, and then we got a special tour to go underneath the Temple Mountain,
The
and we took
tunnels.
a tour. Yes, and there is a river that runs underneath this,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
there's the tunnels, and you can actually some people call it the Euphrates. The Bible talks about in Genesis there are three different rivers, and they all of these three rivers run right here on this mountain. So there is so much history in this mountain. This is where the Temple of Solomon was built later on, um, and we have um, this is where David also saw a vision, and this is also the same mountain where Abraham was about to sacrifice his son, right? And
Yeah,
there is
Mount Moriah.
Mount Moriah. Now it has different names: Mount Moriah, Mount Carmel, and it's right in the city of Israel. And there is, and here is the Mount of Olives. Let's do the 3D on Mount of Olives. I don't know how my view is, but I mean, there is so much to see here. Is unbelievable. The history of Mount Olives. There is the tombs, and as you can see, you see the tombs, and then you can look over at the dome, the golden dome. And if I get it correctly, it's gold on top of that gold, right? Or it's covered with some gold.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's probably maybe covered or not everything gold, probably, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I was reading about it, but I forgot how much gold inside. Yeah.
This is the garden or Gethsemane, right? And this is the famous
Gachmanim, yeah.
olive trees. These are the These are the olive trees, and the olive trees, they're not very tall. They are taller than me, but they're not that much taller than me. And this is the garden where, historically speaking, this is where Jesus prays his prayer, let this cup pass before me, the night before he was betrayed and he was being taken to be crucified. I remember getting on a camel there in Jerusalem, and it was not easy to get off.
Yeah.
The guy told me, it's free to get on, it's free to get on. So once I got on, he said, now it's 50 shekels to get off. They were very good. And okay, and if we go over here, we go to the garden tomb, and historically speaking, this is where the place where people believe that Jesus was crucified in Temple Garden. Is that right? Okay, let's look at here. And there is the hill. It's just outside the city of Jerusalem. There is a Damascus gate, and if you follow the Bible, you can actually see. Let's look at some of these historic places. Now, it's not for sure this was the place, but they did found a tomb that had the symbol, and the tomb it's right there. That's the entrance to it. I remember walking in there, and they found scriptures that historically speaking, this is where it happened. This is where they believe Jesus was crucified and believed he was buried. And this is now the city of Jerusalem. We're right above the city of Jerusalem. So the streets are very narrow, and the rocks there, the view is not very, very good. But anyway, so this is the city of Jerusalem. It's about 2 to 3 hours from here to Tel Aviv, right? When you return back.
Yeah, something like hour and a half hour. Yeah, there is a train actually now, a new train that they did this year, which is taking, I think, 28 minutes from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
So Susie, I have a story. Train. When I was in Jerusalem, my team had already left. I was the only one left, and I stayed an extra day in Jerusalem. I wanted to spend some time there, and then I was flying out of Tel Aviv. So the hotel suggested me to get a regular bus. So I took a bus from Jerusalem right here all the way to Tel Aviv. I was going by myself, and I remember I was with Jews. Everybody were Orthodox Jews, and I'm the only one that has not have the black outfit like I have the black outfit today. But everybody, with the long sides and everything. And I remember the police stopped us, and they went in. And he looks in, and I'm the only one dressed casually. And he just looks in, and he sees me like a thorn sticking out. And he's like, "You come out."
What? I didn't know.
I had to come out and get searched and everything. Anyway, I want to take some questions from the audience. So let's unmute everybody. And Susie, if you don't mind asking answering a few questions.
他等下会弄网络，你可能会断掉。
Okay, any questions you have? You're on mute, everybody. Okay, so, somebody asked, is there a reason that they're called Russians? Well, or why is there so many Russians in Israel?
In the 90s, there was a big, uh, how do you say, aliyah. It's when uh, refugees and everybody they're coming to Israel. Um, New immigration. There was a huge immigration. Lots of Jews. Russian opened gates. Sorry for my English. I started forgetting English. So Russia opened her gates,
Wow,
and lots of them just came to Israel. Israel opened her gates, and so many Russians came to Israel and started their lives here. Yeah, so there's a lot of them.
that's
I
amazing.
was I was one of them. We came the beginning of '89 from
Uh-huh.
Siberia. Yeah.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Webb asked the question, is there a, thank you for that question, good question. Is there a national religion or faith in Israel? What religion are the citizens born into?
It's Judaism. Most of the people here, they're very traditional. They're Orthodox Jews. That they are more strict. But lots of people are very they believe in Judaism, but they are very how do you say it? Not cultural. Sorry, I forgot the word. Anyway, but there's lots of Arabs that they do believe. They have the Islam religion. There's Christianity too, but most of it, yeah, it's Judaism.
Awesome, awesome. There are a ton of questions coming in, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do my best to get them all. Um,
Okay.
what size is Israel compared to the United States?
Tiny. I think it's like New York, no? I
I
think
think
it's
it's like the size of New Jersey. Yeah.
yeah, it's tiny compared to the
And
States. Yeah.
how many people live there?
I think 8.5 million, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Yeah, I think the
Oh,
number is 9 million
almost
or
nine.
something like that.
Wow, so already nine. I remember, yeah, 8.5. So now almost nine. Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's incredible. Hold on, I'm trying to read all the questions that are coming in because there's a lot of them. What type of food do you eat? What is the best food to eat?
It's like a Middle East food. We eat falafel and hummus. Probably everybody
Hummus. Oh,
familiar with
hummus.
hummus.
Uh-huh.
It's a chickpeas. And we eat the falafel. We eat the shawarma, which is meat, lamb. Um, what else? Rice and lots of vegetables, olive
Yes.
oil, salads, lots of salads
Shish
too.
kebab. Shish kebab. Tell us about lamb shish kebab.
Yeah, it's called shawarma. It's called shawarma. When
Shawarma.
you're in Israel, everybody has to try it. You'll like it.
Okay, a lot of questions, Susie. Do you need a visa to go into Israel?
Probably it depends from where.
If you're a
Yeah,
U.S.
so
citizen, you don't,
I don't think so. No. Mm-mm.
because Israel and the U.S. Are very good allies, and
Yeah,
we
good
we can
friends.
go in
Mm-hmm.
without a visa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what type of work is the most popular in Israel?
Um, I don't know, but I think every, like in every place, lots of people are engineers, and there's people that have stores, and every like in every other place.
Okay, someone said,
Hmm.
if I was planning a trip, how many days should I plan to stay to see all the great spots?
I think at least something like 10 days. 10 days will be good.
Minimum, right? Minimum.
Yeah, minimum for 2 weeks. I think 10 days is just for all the bigger spots, and then few more days just to, I think, to stay in the beach in Tel Aviv, or just to get to know the people. It's, I think so, 2 weeks.
Do women have to keep their hair covered at all times?
No, not only in the holy places. but it depends. If you religious Jews, like an Orthodox, very strict one, yes, they cover, once they're married, they cover their heads. And if you're, for example, Arabs, they do cover their heads too, but not everybody. Most of them
Okay.
no.
Now, do you recommend taking a tour company when you go and visit Israel?
I think that yes, because there's so much to see and so much to go. I think the tour guide will explain the best. There's so many stories and history. Even me, when I go to travel in the historical places, I always ask if there is some tour guide, because when a tour guide explains, it's different. You feel, I don't know, differently. You know much more.
Yeah,
For the first time, definitely, yeah, to come with a group. After that, maybe second time, if you just want to hang out in the beach, or just to, you know, be in the city and the streets, you can come by yourself.
that's awesome. All
Hmm.
right.
And
Like I said,
most of the young people, all of them, like, they know English, so it's not a problem. Like, if you need to ask something on the streets or something like that,
yeah, I was surprised so
it's
many
not
people
hard.
speak English. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about youth, someone asked, do they tend,
Hmm.
the youth in Israel, do they tend to stay in Israel or leave to go to other countries?
um yes, most of them they stay, but there's a lot of engineers or lots of doctors, they do leave to other countries, but most of them they stay. Lots of them come back to like me. I visited in the States, and then, like, you miss the family, so you come back.
Yes. Are there do's and don'ts with the dress code? Like, what can you tell a lady if they're going to pack for the trip to Israel? What to carry?
Especially if you go in the streets of Jerusalem, or if you go to the holy places. I think you have to have not too short um, pants, or like a tank top. You say you have to cover your shoulders and your legs. Um, Not like, to be more modest, because there's lots of religious people there, so they don't like when somebody's, I know.
Let me show you a
Yeah,
few things from Israel. This is my menorah that I bought in
menorah.
Jerusalem. This is a little, what you call this?
What's that? It's a kind of oil
Lamp.
cod. Yeah, like cod. You say
Uh-huh.
cod. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna show you this because this is amazing. This is a chess
Look,
set from Israel. I
you did
collect
shopping,
chess
Dan.
sets from, yeah. This is an amazing story because I was in Jerusalem and I went into the Palestinian side. You know, Jerusalem is divided by the Jewish side and the Palestinian side. I was not supposed to go into the Palestinian side, but I sneaked out and went there and found this jewel. And it was originally 400 shekels. And I
What?
hustled him down to 120 shekels. But
There's
it's a,
another thing I wanted. Sorry. There's another thing I wanted to say. In Israel, everything is negotiable. How do you say? So when you're in the market, everywhere you go, just negotiate. You'll always have
yeah.
cheaper.
So that's
Hmm.
expected, right? Like if you just pay the price that they tell you, you're not very smart. No, just kidding. So look at this. I love this. Is one of my favorite chess sets, and I was so proud. Of course, when I flew back into the U.S., I was flagged down because they thought I had too much metal, and they thought it was a weapon. Anyway, uh, what about tipping? Some cultures don't accept tip. Do you tip or
Oh
do you
yeah,
not tip?
they will. Israelis will accept tip very, very gladly. I think
Uh-huh.
in the taxi they don't tip. In the
Oh,
taxi,
okay.
but in
Taxes
the
no.
restaurants, it's around 10%, maybe 15%, something like that.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen one more time because I want to show you
Hmm.
just my favorite pictures from Israel. And um, let me see if they come in. Okay, there's me. There is from Masa from uh, there's me at the Akko, the city. There's
Hmm.
Akko. So you can keep on talking, Susie. Um, the
Hmm.
questions are coming about. Oh, for those of you watching on Facebook, if you need to go, we're going to be off quickly. Susie, they want to know if you are single or married, and what does your husband do? You need to tell them you're off the market, and what do your children do?
Yes, I'm married for 11 years. and my husband is working with QA with computers, and I have one kid. His name is Eitan. He's 8 years old.
Awesome. So your husband works in the computer
It's a
world.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the Judean desert that you're seeing there. In
Mm-hmm.
the Bible, there's a Psalm 23, and David writes, "If I walk through the valley of shadow of death," this is the place he was referring to when he's walking on that, because this place was surrounded by thieves, and they would, steal your stuff. So this is what David walked before, and he said, "I shall have no fear." So this is the city of Jerusalem. I remember that
Mm-hmm.
gentleman. He didn't speak much English. This is one of my favorite pictures. Susie, can you tell us a little bit of Qumran?
Qumran. It's a Qumran caves where they found the Bible scrolls.
And that's what made Israel the power to become a nation in
Mm-hmm.
1948.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so incredible, incredible history. There is again Caesarea, the holy city of Jerusalem. I was actually in a famous place called the Upper Room, and I took that picture from the Upper Room. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, um, well, we are over our time now, and there are more questions coming in, so we'll answer more questions later on. So feel free to reach out on Instagram or Facebook and put your questions there, and we'll try to get them. I want to thank every one of you for joining, and especially Zusi. Big thank you.
Thank you
Shalom.
so much.
How do you say thank you?
תודה רבה.
Toda gava. Toda gava.
Good.
Gava. Yes.
You have the R, the right R. Yeah.
Toda gava.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zusi. I'll catch up with you later on. I want to thank all of you for taking your time and going with me to Israel. I hope you gain good knowledge. And I'm looking forward to our next destination next Monday at 11:30. Away we go. I'm your host, Dan Vasquez, and stay in touch. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.